Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One, and I am back with another video. You know what you got to do: rate, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so it'll let you know when my next video or live stream goes down. Follow your boy on Twitter. I don't tweet as much, but when I do tweet, it's very thoughtful, it's very informational, and it's very informative. Now, we got all that stuff out of the way. Let's get into today's topic. Tekashi 6ix9ine, excuse me, Tekashi 6ix9ine, excuse me, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Let's do some Tekashi 6ix9ine. First of all, before we get into the proceedings, I think we're in day 3. Atashi's taking the stand, and he's basically is an informant for the government. A lot of people saying Tekashi 6ix9ine is a rat. He's a snitch. Okay, if don't do the crime, if you can't do the time, you know, all these metaphors. First of all, before we get into today's topic, let's put some perspectives on a few things. Okay, now I hear a lot of people talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine. He knew what he was getting himself into when he was initiated, you know, in a gang, okay, with the Bloods, okay. They acknowledge that he's Treyway, and when you move into a gang, your perspectives and what you feel are different. You have to move and operate as a gang member than a citizen. A lot of people saying that he should not allow the police, if he has problems with certain gang members, he should address them in this gang community. And a lot of people feel like him going to the police, that was the wrong thing to do, because he forfeited those rights. He's not a citizen no more. He's a member of a gang. And that's why a lot of people call him a rat, call him a snitch. Okay. Now, if everyone's keeping that same energy, then how on Tekashi 6ix9ine saying that, well, he should have handled this matter with the gang instead of rolling over on the gang and pretty much embedding himself with the police, the government. And but I feel like if a lot of people saying that Tekashi 6ix9ine is a snitch, then how come there have been other people, big people, all types of people in this gang world that has way more street cred than Tekashi 6ix9ine, that are legit killers, are legit gangsters, no matter Crip, Blood, whatever. How come you guys don't call them a rat? Don't call them a snitch? You can do a quick Google search on a lot of famous criminals that rolled on their bosses, or sometimes the boss roll on others, so they don't have to spend the rest of their lives in prison. How come you guys, it seems like it's sort of hypocritical. It's sort of like y'all pick and choose when to establish the rules and when not to enforce the rules. So I feel like that should be addressed, and that should be put out there. All right. Now, second aspect of this, I don't condone anything Tekashi 6ix9ine is doing. I'm not an advocate for Tekashi 6ix9ine, but what I am is a realist. I know that a lot of people, they love to emulate, they love to be in this quote unquote gang culture, and everyone's fascinated and everyone fantasized of being in the Crips and being in the Bloods, from all the television shows that depict these gangsters, from all the movies, the videos, the music. Everyone likes the persona of it. It's the new hip, it's the new cool. I get all that. It's the fashion trend, okay? Because everyone's fascinated of wanting to be a gangster. I understand it. Everybody wants everybody wants those gifts, but they don't want the responsibility that evolves in being a gangster. You know, I feel like everybody wants to surround themselves with that type of setting, but when the shit hits the fan, nobody wants to wants to nobody everyone wants the good portion of it, but they don't want the bad portion of it. There's good and bad in everything, in every walk of life, you know. And I feel like with this generation, everybody wants things like that instant. They want they want things instant, like instant oatmeal, instant mashed potatoes, okay, where they don't have to do a lot of work to get it. All right. So Tekashi 6ix9ine has been has been on the stand, and he's been singing. He's been singing like Whitney Houston, Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Ashanti. This guy has been singing, all right, and been singing so much so the judge have to, tell Tekashi and the prosecution, like, yo, just get to the point. This man is now, he's not only telling, but he's overtelling. I didn't know you can overtell. All right. That's how bad this man do not want to spend don't want to spend a minute in jail. And let's just keep it all the way a buck. How many of y'all are willing to spend 15 years in jail? Now, Tekashi 6ix9ine he may get up to 47 years in jail. Okay, that's a long time. Okay, I don't know too many people that want to spend 5 years in jail. I don't know too many people want to spend 5 minutes in jail. Okay, so Tekashi 6ix9ine has been singing, and he pretty much talked about the kidnapping, the proceedings of the kidnapping, that he was being extorted by Treyway, by Shotty, by all of them. He had a misunderstanding on how things go down. He felt like Shotty was the only one that was considered the boss, but Shotty had a boss. Okay, so Shotty was getting his paper from 6ix9ine, but the boss that's over Shotty wasn't getting that. That's why the kidnapping played a part. Remember, everybody a couple of years back talked about how the kidnapping is a publicity stunt to sell more records or whatever, and people just did not believe into it. They didn't, believe that he got kidnapped. Well, they showed video of him being kidnapped, and basically Tekashi talked about the whole ordeal, saying like, the reason why they kidnapped him because they wanted money. They were trying to extort money from him. Tekashi talked about how he can spend the night and he can go to the bank and get the money. Dude wasn't buying that. Dude may have been born he may have been born at night, but not last night. Okay, so he just took whatever Tekashi had on him, which was his chain. All right, and that led into Tekashi putting a bounty on the chain and whoever stole the chain from him. I felt like Tekashi was in too deep, and he really did not know the procedures of being in a gang. Okay, he understood the simple format of being with Treyway because all he knew was what Shotty told him. Okay, and what Shotty instilled in him. I felt like he was blinded to the fact of there's much more, there's more dominoes than just Shotty. Okay, but he found out a little bit later. Then they talked to, then they had a recording of of two and of some guys, and one of them was Jim Jones talking about they was going to disrespect him, they was going to super duper disrespect him, and then you can take that either way. Okay, take that either way. A lot of people took that as they was going to put a hit on Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know, that they was going to harm his family. A lot of people took that however they wanted to take that. Now, let me okay. That blinking on and off kind of, you know, it was like, I'm going like, what the hell? Why is it blinking like that? Okay, so Tekashi talked about how Jim Jones is part of the Bloods, and then he also implicated Cardi B, which really is no huge shocker to anyone about that. You know, if you did not know that they're not influenced by the Bloods, then I don't know. I don't know what you've been watching. You know, I will say this. I don't know if people can recall this, but like 5 years ago when Chris Brown was in a lot of trouble with the gun charges, and I'm not talking about the Rihanna stuff, but I'm talking about much earlier. He would always surround himself with the Bloods, and he would represent them. And remember, you know, he would use the Bloods as security. I mean, he was representing the Bloods, but he wasn't. He wasn't truly with the Bloods. If you understand what I'm saying, basically, he was utilizing them for security. All right, and you know, and to do that, you have to pay some type of fee for that to happen. You know, I don't know if he's still part of the Bloods. I don't know if he still represent them like he used to. Okay, because I really don't follow Chris Brown, but I remember like 5 or 6 years ago, he would, you know, really rep them to the fullest. Now, he probably got with an agent that told him he needs to separate sever his ties with them, okay, because it was hurting his bottom line. All right. And do anyone remember how Soulja Boy would rep the Bloods? And it was like a video. Soulja Boy was trying to put his arm around some gang member, some stranger, and the guy said, "Get your arm off me, man. You ain't with us," you know, because Soulja Boy wanted the street cred. Chris Brown wanted the street cred. That was the new hotness in hip hop, where, you know, everybody wanted the street cred, being down with the Crips, down with the Bloods, and all that. Okay. You know, I don't know if Chris Brown still associate himself with them, but I still think that Soulja Boy do, but to a lesser extent. All right. So I felt like Tekashi had that type of mentality. Okay. And he felt like, look, if I, you know, represent Treyway, that they're going to protect me. Like, I'm going to use them like for security. You know, nobody's not going to ride up on me or, you know, talk, you know, ish about me if I'm a part of this gang. Okay. Now, Tekashi is in a no-win. He's in a, I know a lot of people are going to, when I say this, a lot of people are going to they're going to look at me kind of funny, but Tekashi is in a no-win situation, and it goes like this. First of all, Tekashi 6ix9ine is not going to just do all that time for the cause. He's not going to take one on the chin for the gang, okay? Because Tekashi, he's like 21, 22. He knows that he has a future in hip hop. So he has a lot to lose to have that type of mentality. So Tekashi is looking at it from the viewpoint of, if I don't roll on these guys, then I'm going to be a senior citizen, and I don't know too many senior citizens that are still rapping. Okay? So Tekashi has a lot to lose at this juncture. All right? So it was literally easy for the government to get him to be an informant. All right. There's some reports that say that his second night in jail, he was already singing, you know, because Tekashi has been in and out of jail. But when you're talking about the penitentiary, that's a whole different animal than, like precinct jail. I think the most he's been like is in the precincts, and he's been locked up in and out of those situations. And that's light work compared to the penitentiary. That's major type of stuff. And you have to have a certain type of mentality to live in and out in that type of environment. Okay. So Tekashi's standpoint was, look, I got a lot to lose, because really I'm the money man. I'm the one that orchestrates all the other illegal stuff that goes down. At a point, everybody with Nine Trey was denouncing Tekashi. Remember when he did the Breakfast Club interview, when he denounced being part of Treyway, that he's no longer with Treyway and all that stuff? The reason why he went on the Breakfast Club interview saying that, because he already knew in the back of his mind that they was going to out him anyway. Okay. And if that would have came out before him going to own the Breakfast Club, his street cred would have been over with. His career would have been over with. Okay. It would have been full season on him. So Tekashi got ahead of the storm and got on the Breakfast Club, and trying to make it fit his agenda, which was, I'm leaving Treyway. Treyway's not leaving me. Okay. And that's where they had issues with Tekashi. Okay. By him just even going on the club, they felt like that was kind of disrespectful. That's not how they roll and move in the world they're in. Like, I remember I said earlier in this live stream, when you're part of a gang, the same rules you don't utilize the same rules when you were just an average citizen and then apply it into this gang world. The rules are totally different. Okay. So Tekashi had no choice but to go on stand. Okay. Because if he didn't turn over and roll, somebody would have turned over and rolled. Okay. And he's seeing the most time. Shotty, when you're talking about 47 years, you're talking about 5 years here, 10 years there, 3 years here, all those years, you're talking about a lot of time. And I don't think Tekashi 6ix9ine is built that way. So these past 3 days, Tekashi has pretty much explained what went down. Okay. Now, he also admitted in court that yes, he's got a deal with the prosecution. Okay. Which really, in the essence of all this, really any average person would know that he has a deal. He has a deal on the table that if he fully cooperates, he's going to get less time. He can get less than the minimum. Okay. So there's a possibility that Tekashi 6ix9ine can be out in 2020, time served, because he's already been in prison long enough. to the point to where they can, tell the judge, pass a motion to the judge, like, look, he have served. He's been in jail for X amount of months. We consider that time served. He cooperated to the fullest extent, and the government, Tekashi is a goldfish. They don't want the government don't really want Tekashi. The government really don't want Shotty. Okay? The government is after bigger sharks in the ocean. Not these small little minnows and these goldfish and these little tropical fishes. They're looking to get the big ones. Okay? And Tekashi is the closest thing they're going to be able to get these big sharks. Because Tekashi can be easily flipped because he's never been in this gangster life. He's never done any work. He's never done any dirt. Okay? So it's easy to flip Tekashi. Plus, he don't want to go to prison because he knows he has a future in the music scene. Okay? Now, a lot of people are saying, well, how much of a future? I mean, at the end of the day, he done lost his street cred. Martha Stewart has more street cred than Tekashi 6ix9ine at this juncture. So what you talking about, will he still have a career? Tekashi will have a career, after this. Because people, his hardcore fans, will still support Tekashi's music. Also, Tekashi can also maneuver in other fields. He can do documentaries about the incident that's going down as of right now. He can do television. He can do reality TV. He still has a huge following on social media. He can make money doing that. He can also make money doing appearances, like certain functions, certain clubs would allow him to do appearances there. So Tekashi 6ix9ine, if you only just look at it as rapping, does he have a career musically? That's on the fence. But I feel like his hardcore fans are going to continue to push his music and push the demand for him to continue to make music. Okay? So Tekashi, as far as his future, he has a brighter future. Shotty, on the other hand, what a lot of people seem to forget about Shotty was Shotty was always in the music scene. Okay? A lot of people seem to forget that Shotty is knowledgeable about the music scene. He was trying to hook up artists, and see if he can make them be very successful in the music scene. He hit and miss on a lot of some of them artists was in love and hip hop. His biggest artist to date is Tekashi. Shotty is 31. He's going to spend 15 years in prison. Time he gets out, he'll be what? 46? Shotty can still, depending on his connections and depending on how people view him, how people view him 15 years down the road, as far as a producer, he can probably still do that. But the problem is, if you're an up and coming artist that's already blowing up, you just need someone to point you in the right direction. I don't think he's going to get those type of artists. I do feel like if you're like an undiscovered artist and nobody is giving you a call or nobody doesn't know you exist, I feel like Shotty has an eye for talent, and he can he can he can smell talent, and he can help you with your career in music. But will the music industry allow him to do that? Okay, that's we no one would know the answer to that until he's released from prison. I feel like ultimately, depending on how bad it gets in these proceedings, is whether or not Shotty's going to have a career in music, because the music scene can literally blackball Shotty from even if he comes back 15 years down the road, they can blackball him to the point where he's those connections are going to disappear, and the ability for him, I mean, for anybody to want to represent, want Shotty to represent them, that bad press, nobody's not going to touch it. Okay, so it depends on what the rest. I mean, on the other shooter drop with this Tekashi case, the Tekashi 6ix9ine case, but it all hinges on that. How influenced Shotty was in a lot of those things. Did Shotty orchestrate trying to put a hit on 6ix9ine? A lot of stuff we don't know. Prison looking iffy. Soap's getting slippery. Oh. he's doing some rap. Okay, so damn, why I do that? Sorry I got your message late, dude. Sorry I got your message late. But it is what it is. And that was from Web Obsession. Sorry I got your message late. I apologize. I didn't even get it until just now. So Tekashi, out of all the people that are being indicted, and name drops and stuff like that, I feel like Shotty. I feel like Tekashi has a lot riding on this court, so he's gonna do whatever it takes for him to still have a career and hope to get out in 2020. And I feel like him, in order for him to get out in 2020, he has to drop something that's a bombshell that the government can use to get these bigger sharks. Because Tekashi, they're not looking for Tekashi. They don't care about Tekashi. Tekashi is the worm on the hook. They're trying to lure in the bigger sharks. Okay, that's what they're looking at. They're not even interested in Shotty. But I feel like if Tekashi did not flip, somebody was going to flip, but they need Tekashi. So Tekashi had no choice in the matter. Once again, like I said earlier in the video, I understand once you accept being part of a gang, the rules are different. You can't bring in the rules as being a citizen into the gang world, okay? Because it don't mix. When you be a part of a gang, you forfeit your right. That was a typo. Okay. Prison looking iffy. Oh, okay, I got you, say Web. That was a typo. Okay. But I did read your message, man. I don't know if you heard me or not. Yeah, Tekashi is right. Oh, what is it? Oh. Okay. So, Tekashi, y'all, everybody, for the people out there that said Tekashi 6ix9ine snitching, he's a rat. Okay, Literally, he is. Figuratively, he has no other options. Tekashi's not going to do any serious time. He's not going to take the fall, okay? Because he's not built that way. Tekashi 6ix9ine, his whole life, he's been in and out of county jail. Prison is a different animal. 6ix9ine is going to buy a one-way ticket to the moon, dog. Okay, let me skip what I'm about to say. I've been hearing a lot of people on social media say that Tekashi 6ix9ine is, when all this is said and done, they're gonna put him in witness protection and he's gonna be isolated from the world and this, that, and the third. I'm here to tell you guys that's not going to happen. Okay? If Tekashi 6ix9ine gets released, like in 2020, like what everyone's assuming what's going to go down, Tekashi is still going to be living his best life. All right? Because he's going to have, tell me now, he's going to, yes, he is. I'm going to tell you why. Tekashi 6ix9ine, as far as his career in music goes, he still has a huge fan base that's going to support his music. Tekashi 6ix9ine brand, his name, he can still make money. He can still eat, like doing social media. I mean, not social media, doing reality TV. He still has a name in social media. People will still follow and flock and see him on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Okay, so as far as him making money, he will continue to make money. Now, a lot of people say he's going to be in danger. He's going to they're going to be looking for him. You also have to understand this. If he takes down the bigger sharks, let's just say if he takes down the bigger sharks in the gang world, and just because you get one shark, that don't necessarily mean you got all the sharks. A lot of sharks are going to fall back saying, whoa, I don't want to be a part of this. He already done took down X, Y, and Z with his testimony. Why am I going to, put my neck out there with the possibility and running the risk of me being pulled out of these waters? So if y'all do y'all history in gang life and gang mentality, it doesn't matter if it's the Crips, the Bloods, the Italian Mafia, the Chicago gangs. There's always been a informant that snitches on the big fish, and that person lives on to still have a life, because sometimes the gangs will just call it a loss. Look, we already done lost these other big fishes. Why we're gonna run the risk of possibly losing even more? And in gang life, just because you cut off one big head, one arm, that doesn't necessarily mean another arm is not going to grow. It's like an octopus. You sever one limb, another limb is going to grow, and that limb probably is not going to proceed any further. I feel like if this goes the way the government wants it to go, because the government has a wish list of people that they're trying to get with this testimony. The more sharks he catches, the more enemies. That's true. You're right. People want him dead. Yep, people do. I agree. But the people that want him dead are the people that's got targets on them right now. Those are the people that want him dead. If you're still anonymous and if you're still doing your thing in the gang life and your name is not mentioned, you don't have a target on your chest, they're not going to be looking for Tekashi. So the opportunity for them to get rid of Tekashi, they should have done that a long time ago. Now Tekashi is in the hands of the government. Who the looking for? Question. I'm talking about the bigger sharks are, and they just mentioned them in the deliberations of, I think it was day 2 or day 1. It was either 1 or 2. It's not 3. And they have their own attorneys trying to make Tekashi look like he's just telling a story, like all this is fabricated, like, you know, all he's doing is trying to save his own neck, save his own throat. That's the people I'm talking about. I had their names in my head. I can't think of them right now, but they mentioned them in day 2. They mentioned them in day 2. It's been 3 days right now with these court proceedings, but you know, we're gonna have to wait and see. I think we're only scratching the surface, and the longer he stays on the stand, the longer he's singing. And it was one point the judge was getting mad at Tekashi because Tekashi would ad-lib a lot of the questions, okay? Particularly yes and no questions, where all he has to do is just say yes or no. Tekashi would say either yes or no, but then he'll add some more information. Tekashi thinks that this is an interview, like a television interview, like the Breakfast Club interview, when all they want you to do is take the stand and answer their questions. Don't ad-lib, don't assume, don't add any more information to what they asked you. Tekashi is trying to make sure he plays his part with the government so they won't drop them years on him, okay? Because he's scared, all right? So the judge has already told Tekashi, look, told Tekashi's lawyer, like, look, y'all need to tell him, like, just answer the question. And Tekashi is doing way too much. He toned down a little in day 3, but there was certain parts in day 3 where he would, say way too much. Okay. And I feel like over the weekend, they're going to coach him up again and get him to understand that, yo, just answer the questions, dog. 6ix9ine is charged the game. It's crazy. He thinks he's a genius. I don't think Tekashi 6ix9ine thinks he's a genius. I think Tekashi 6ix9ine thinks, I think, like I said earlier in this live stream, I think Tekashi 6ix9ine got caught up into something that he thought he can control. That he understood that, well, all I got to do, read it again, dog. All right. 6ix9ine. I don't think he's a genius, though. Let me read this one. But it comes back to him. He thinks he's smart. Okay. Here's okay. Tekashi, like I said earlier, and this will validate what you said. Okay. Let me lift this up some. Tekashi had a different understanding on what Treyway and Shotty was to him. He literally thought that they were going to be security, protection from him. And he felt like the only person he had to talk to was Shotty. As long as he makes Shotty happy, everything was cool. What Tekashi failed to realize was this was more complex. There were other bosses that wanted to eat off Tekashi's earnings. And at one point, that's when the kidnapping came in. That's when they kidnapped him to hit him up, to shake him to an extent to get more money out of him. Because Tekashi felt like all I gotta do is pay Shotty and that's it. But when he found out there were more mouths to feed, and then particularly when they tried to put a hit on him, that's when Tekashi flipped. You know, he flipped his second night in jail. But like I said earlier, if Tekashi did not squeal, somebody was going to squeal. Somebody was going to squeal at the end of the day. So Tekashi squealed because he had the most to lose. And I don't think Tekashi 6ix9ine is a genius, but I don't think he's dumb. I just think he had a different understanding than what it was. I don't know. I mean, that's my opinion. I could be wrong with my opinion. You could be right about your opinion. But to me, when I start reading the articles, particularly about this incident and the Barcade Center thing, I get the after I read all this, I come to the conclusion of I feel like Tekashi got caught up in something he was not fully aware about. And that's why I say that earlier in the live stream. Okay. Well, that's all I got, man. I really do appreciate everyone that came. I really do appreciate you, dude. I like rapping back and forth with people. I'm glad you watched my live stream. I'll probably do another one sometime next week. I kind of want to do one on Wednesday because I feel like on Wednesday I can, talk about the testimony from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then put it all in one big package. It's your boy, the host with the most. I'm Chris the Don One. Peace. Appreciate you out there. Hold up. Web. I appreciate you. Hold on. One more thing. He got one more thing to say. I don't like telling, but this is a very different case. Yes, it is a very different case because a lot of people are going to be implemented. He already done dime drop Jim Jones. He already dime dropped Cardi B, Trippie Redd. He already dime dropped these people. So that's just the appetizers of what the prosecution has in store. He's going to name drop bigger people that we may not know them, but they are heavy, but they run certain portions of Treyway and the Bloods. So we're gonna get all that stuff. I feel like sometime next week, some bigger shoes are going to drop. So we're just gonna have to wait and see who else gets name dropped, because these are small fish in the government's eyes. They're looking for the bigger sharks to fry. These small fish, you're going to be hearing about these people, but the government's not interested in these people. The government is more interested in the people that they've been targeting for like going on 7 years now. Okay, so that's all I got for today, man. I got to get up, got to start the day, got to get on my grind. It's your boy, Facts Dog. I appreciate you, dog. I'll talk to y'all guys later. You too, dog. Yeah, I will, Web. I definitely will. It's your boy. I'm out, man. Peace, man. Y'all have a good one.